Welcome to Jazz and Beyond on 702 and Cape Talk, where you come for the jazz and you stay for a good time, where we have these amazing, interesting conversations with some of the most incredible, talented, and best musicians, jazz musicians, must I add. And I'm very excited that today we are hosting a woman who has classic vocal traditions. But trust me, she has been inspired by great jazz storytellers. And she's also been performing for over 2 decades, where she'll tell us. And she's the front woman of a brand new jazz band. I don't know if it's brand new, but she'll explain all of it. Called BISOUX. Is it BISOUX? It's French for kisses. I hope I'm saying it right. And I'm talking about Wendy Allen Twyford. Is that correct?
That's perfectly correct.
Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Hi, Nothemba. I'm great and just so excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
I'm also quite excited that we've been having this conversation, and now the conversation is come to fruition.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So what's the right name of the band?
You hit it. BISOUX.
BISOUX.
I always help people out and say, think of a B and think of a zoo and put the two together.
BISOUX.
BISOUX, and give it a little bit of a zhuzh at the end, and you've got BISOUX.
And it means kisses in French.
Correct.
Why must we be kissing?
Well, we wanted to have a name that intonated drawing people in to an intimate experience. So first, it really sounds cool, and then secondly, it's an invitation to have an intimate jazz exchange and experience of beautiful music. So that's where it all hailed from.
And actually, now that you say it, because even the music on the album is very, smooth and sexy and, relaxed. And I like that. I like that.
I'm glad.
So it was intentional.
Absolutely.
That the name will also suit the kind of music that you guys do.
Absolutely. I mean, that's your calling card. That's your first introduction to anybody before they even listen. So I think the name's important. It must embody the kind of music that you're going to share with peeps.
Yeah. So describe the music that BISOUX kind of does.
Well, it's an interesting combination because it definitely has its heart in jazz.
Yeah.
And it's a jazz thread that weaves its way through absolutely every single song that we perform. But it takes its influences from all sorts of spaces, from Latin to jazz to funk to blues to pop to rock, where it's a crossover between these genres. And it has a decidedly strong jazz thread that weaves its way through all of that.
Yeah.
And it's us really just approaching it with a fresh take on how it's been done before. So very jazz-inspired, very sultry sometimes funky, a real crossover between genres and feel, but mostly jazz-inspired.
And I can tell from, the titles on the album that these are some songs that everyone might be familiar with.
Absolutely.
And that you have reworked them and, as you say, put in a different, fresh, perspective into those songs. But let's talk about the band, because all of you are amazing musicians in your own right. And pity that we can't have the whole band in here. True. Because it would also have been absolutely fantastic to, to have all of you and talk about each one's individual contribution and just your take on not only for the band, but also just get to know the band members personally. But we have you, and you are the lead singer.
I'm honored to be here.
And you play the percussions on the band. Let's talk about the others before we get deep into who Wendy is.
So in terms of the band composition, we essentially started out as a trio with Dr. Roland Moses on keys and Amayeshi Ketchi on bass. He's
Brilliant
wonderful
bassist.
in that he plays
Brilliant bassist.
absolutely both double and electric, which really is nice because it adds a variance to the sound and the texture and just also the visual. People love to see both. And then Rob Watson on drums, who joins us when budget allows, occasion allows, and that's us essentially as the core of.
How did you decide? Because you're all doing, your own, music careers individually, and decide that let's form a band.
Well, we've all worked together for decades, actually, in different permutations and different bands. The precursor to BISOUX was actually, and it still is in existence, is Funk de Jazz, which is a bigger complement of 6 members, which includes Sydney Mavundla.
I remember that band. Yes, I remember.
Phil Holder on sax.
Yeah.
And COVID came about and sort of interrupted where we were going with our band evolution. And I guess one of the most, or probably the only desirable thing for me that came out of COVID was the emergence of BISOUX. Because post all of that, we were faced with the difficulty of finding places and spaces to perform in because there wasn't money. And we were the last tier of the workforce to go back into the workspace. So we had to come up with a way in which we could continue performing because there seemed to be such a hunger for live entertainment post-COVID.
Yes.
But there wasn't money to go around financing big compliments. So we decided strategically that we were dying to play again, and venues were looking for a smaller complement. So we reformulated from Funk de Jazz, which still exists, but we came up with a new concept. So we found each other in that context and then emerged then as BISOUX, which is a smaller, not a subset of Funk de Jazz because we have a completely different sound and repertoire, but that's sort of the history that brought us together, moving from Funk de Jazz into
So what
BISOUX.
places have you been performing?
So post-COVID, we were blessed with a residency at Fairlawns Boutique Hotel. It was almost uncanny because we were literally playing every single Sunday for 2 years solid there.
Wow.
Thanks to the immense generosity of Mr. Michael Cluley, who is the MD of the
hotel
venue. And he just wanted to get behind artistry and give us an opportunity to play because we hadn't. And that was where the magic happened, and that we were playing consistently every single weekend. And so we played there. And then, of course, as we've built the brand, we've hit the corporate scene. We've played different soirees and venues, and then a couple of festivals. Most recently, we played for the first time ever the Knysna Jazz Festival, which happened in October last year.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so you give us a chance to play and we're there. It doesn't matter what the context is.
So I guess even the repertoire of the album and what you then decided to record is also based on the stuff that you had been performing and you chose from those kind of songs.
Interestingly enough, I used to do a very strictly jazz-orientated repertoire. And then having been playing in a space where we were needing to perhaps dabble in a bit more contemporary material.
Oh, yes.
We started to look at covers, and that was where the magic happened because we thought, well, let's find content that appeals to the people that are visiting these spaces, but let's not compromise in terms of the stuff that we enjoy playing. So we just decided to give it a rework and reinvent all these lovely numbers that people have heard for decades, but we were going to do it our way.
Okay, let's talk about the covers that you're doing and on the album. The album is called Reimagined. Let's talk about some of these tracks. I mean, these are popular jazz standards. You got like Fever, Ain't No Sunshine, Route 66. I like that version that you guys did of Route 66 as well. You also have Tainted Love. You have Sweetest Taboo. And I like the musicians that you feature on some of these. Like you said, Sydney Mavundla used to be, or is with the other band that he features on the Sweetest Taboo. And then the amazing Peter Orette on drums on Calling You.
Yes.
And what have I left out? What song have I left out? Come Together, yes. And Fluidity.
That's right.
Yeah. And I understand your mix. You're saying your mix of jazz and soul and R&B, but the interpretation with the jazz thread into those tracks.
Exactly. And it was interesting in that when you're playing these songs over and over again, the magic happens and you start figuring out, oh, that sounds great, or that was cool. And you start splicing together the best bits from repetitive performance. But then we have the superpower of Roland Mosen that comes along and reharmonizes everything in a way that you can't even imagine. And you bring that all together into a rendition that you play it so many times you think, well, we're just playing Sweetest Taboo.
Yeah.
But at the end of the gig, someone comes up to you and says, wow, I've never heard it done like that. And you think, wow, was it really that different? And then we got asked several times, well, can't we hear this somewhere else? I mean, we love the way you did this. We love the way you did that. And we realized, sure, we've actually got something unique and special here. So perhaps we should go and record it.
Yeah.
And so it really was not just a redoing of these covers, but it was us reimagining them, bringing all the creative elements together that have happened through the organic performances that happened over and over again. And there it is.
Wow. And also just talking about the brilliance of Roland Moses, he also made the arrangements of the music and stuff, and he's going to be performing, I think, with his trio or something at the Montreux Jazz Festival in Franschhoek.
Wow, you know more than I do.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Or is it at the Cape Town Jazz Festival? I don't know, because those two are happening at the same time. I'm even confused with the lineup there as to who's playing where. They are happening, but of course, I'm just honoring his brilliance over the years as well, and his contribution to the music and this particular album. But let's get into some Wendy now. You grew up, classically trained.
Correct.
Vocally or in general, or the piano, or because you also do percussions there. What was your classical training focusing on?
So I actually trained as a classical pianist.
Oh, okay.
Music's been in my blood from the minute I think I opened my eyes. So I've just been immersed in music all my life long.
Was there lots of music at home?
There was. I have a grandfather that I never met, but was an amazing pianist. Used to play piano for the silent movies in the Durban Playhouse.
Wow.
I have his piano and I have his record collection, and that's what he left me. And as a child, I discovered it. I didn't know who Ella Fitzgerald was. I didn't know who Louis Armstrong was, but boy, did I listen to those vinyls over and over again. And that really was sort of something that instilled into me. Musical family, but no one really performing. And
yes.
Trained as a pianist, played in bands since I was in school, but singing vocals in the backing, harmonizing context, but always just wanted to sing jazz. But playing jazz piano is almost like learning a new instrument.
Sure.
So I had the great fortune of meeting a beautiful pianist once, living in a block of flats, and we connected. I was actually teaching her son maths and science, and we started playing together. In the evenings, we just sit and she'd play and I'd sing, and we said, hey, let's go for it. Why don't we start doing this as a sort of gig scenario? And that's where the jazz gigging started. And I then stepped into my vocal capacity as a jazz vocalist. And ever since then, I've left behind all the other sort of contemporary rock and pop and folk bands where I was playing piano and singing and just focusing on the jazz side of things, which brings immense joy to my heart. And I've been involved in bands ever since. And that's I've had the honor and true blessing of working with so many greats through the years and learning so much from them.
When you talk about, teaching maths and science, it then reminds me that, by the way, you were studying chemistry or something.
I did. I left school to go and immerse myself in the sciences. I did a degree in chemistry and chemical sciences, and then moved on into maths and science education, but all whilst doing that partaking in performing in music.
I just wonder how studying that, are you able to use it in your musical profession and career?
I don't think in an obvious capacity.
I know.
But there have been a lot of studies around how mathematics superimposes on music. So I'm sure in a more abstract context, there would probably be some kind of crossover. But I've enjoyed the fact that I've had a bit of a left and a right brain stimulation through my life, with the sort of very analytical side of my business world, and then the expressive, creative side of being a performer and a musician.
Yeah, and I'm really highlighting that because I think of I studied a Bachelor of Education, and look at me speaking. I'm not teaching. You know what I mean? So it may not necessarily be seen as directly involved, but it is at the same time.
Absolutely.
And I'm just glad you also decided to follow your passion.
I had no choice. When music chooses you, that's it.
Yeah. So when you are not on stage, what is Wendy doing?
Wendy is a mother and a wife.
Oh, yes.
And I also work, for the last 20 years, I've worked as an independent financial advisor and investment specialist. So when I moved out of education, I was trying to pursue a music career full-time, but I realized it wasn't that easy financially. And I thought the best thing is to really have something that I can work in parallel that gives me the flexibility and the independence to not worry about an income stream, but then also have the time to devote to my passion. So if I had a first choice, I would be doing music 24/7 with a bit of gardening on the side.
Absolutely.
But I'm blessed to have that alternate parallel stream of income. But I really wish I could immerse myself in the music full time.
I must come to you for some financial advice. There's nothing in my bank account, so you must you must just tell me how to get something in there.
Oh,
but I think also it just highlights the state of the music community, and the fact that it's not really easy to do that on a full-time basis for it to be a sustainable career, don't you think?
I do think it's really tough, in that you'll find even the key musicians that are succeeding in the public eye have all got something happening in parallel, whether it's in the music industry, whether they're working in the studio or they're teaching or lecturing. It's hard because there's seasons where there is a lot of work and there's seasons where there might not be any work.
True.
So it causes immense strain when you're worrying about paying the bills, but what you'd love to be doing is making music. So I think it's essential for folk to be practical about it, because there are a very small percentage of folk that can really just immerse themselves in music without worrying about money.
Yeah.
And be clever about it. If it's needing to be something you're doing in parallel that at least is still related to the music industry, that it kind of intersects and you can marry the two.
Yeah.
Mine is a little bit far removed, but it is as what it is. But I like the fact that it gives me flexibility. And
also to your advantage, just having other skills outside of what you're passionate about, and especially if that helps you in, making it, from day to day.
Yeah, true.
Is, I think, an important point to make, especially for young people who want to get into the industry. And all they see is the success stories on social media or in the media or whatever, but are not quite aware of what happens off the phone and off the screen to get to that point.
The reality of it all.
The reality of it.
Scenes.
And maybe that may then lead us into just your thoughts on how bad could the entertainment industry, or maybe even for jazz in particular, since I think other musical formats get more attention regarding funding or sponsorship and things like that. Just from your perspective, what needs to happen for jazz to be able to thrive, and musicians like yourselves and others to at least make a decent living? And it's not only just for you to make a living, but to also give us all this soul and fulfillment that we as lovers of music need.
And I guess it's a standard answer, I think, that most folk would offer, in that essentially we need the support of people in terms of, there might be beautiful venues that open, but we need people to be seated in those seats to support the musicians that are performing. So people need to get out and listen and engage with people when they're performing live. Often we will be in a beautiful venue playing beautiful music, and there will be a sparse gathering of an audience. So I think the encouragement of folk to support live artistry in the context of venues, in the context of festivals, and buy their music, support them, get behind peeps. But at the same time, I guess it's also a matter of creating spaces in which folk can present their music too. So when there aren't stages and spaces for that to take place, it's difficult for entertainers to find a place to express and share their gifts. So what is exciting, though, I'm seeing quite a movement currently in a lot of jazz venues opening up in Jersey and in Cape Town.
In Cape Town, yeah.
And also the festivals. It's beautiful to see how more and more local content has been included, even on this radio shows, in terms of the playlists.
Yeah.
More and more content of local artists being included in the playlists, where people get to hear something that they might have not heard before. So it goes both ways. We need to put our stuff out there and create, but at the same time it needs to be supported by audiences and the larger musical community out there. So it's a tricky one, isn't it, really?
It is, because yes, we want people to go to the performances, live performances, and at the same time, they are always saying, send me a link to that song. I want to listen to it. Why not go and see the song being performed?
Engage,
you know what I mean?
With that wonderful organic experience.
With the artists. And but also live performances are not just for the musicians, but the whole value chain.
Exactly.
Where it's the the people behind the scenes, the stage, the sound engineers, there's the PR work, there's all that is involved, that helps boost the music industry when it's supported. I think it's a very good point to make, that we need people to go to live performances. But at the same time, they'll tell you, when it's late, there's safety issues, there's, and then if the tickets cost an arm and a leg, it's, economy is, so there's just...
it's a delicate balance.
It's definitely a delicate balance. Do your kids watch, when you're at home, are you rehearsing? And are they, how old are your kids?
I have a son of 15.
Oh, one.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I have a stepson, but he doesn't live with us, so he doesn't get to engage in all the crazy preparations.
And what's your son's thoughts about and feelings about you as a, I don't know what environment you've created, for your passion, that he has what he thinks about you singing and stuff, and maybe inspired him to also get into the arts in some way?
Well, I think kids never really quite see their parents the way they see other people.
True.
So it's only recently now that, I've been engaging with trying to promote the CD, etc. And he's a little older, that he's taking cognizance of the fact that, this is how it works. So in the beginning, I'd go off to a gig and he'd come along and I'd be fishing him out of a pond. alongside the hotel whilst trying to sing a solo. And he was absolutely disinterested. He was more interested in socializing at my gigs. But it's been beautiful that he's been part of that, and he's seen that process, because he does have a deep appreciation for music. And I'm very excited because I've watched that taste in music evolve and go very much in a jazzy direction. So yes, we have got over the finishing line there. But now it's quite heartwarming, because I think that he's mature enough to understand the blood, sweat and tears that's gone into getting to where I've gotten to. He's watched that process unfold. He's been wonderfully supportive, and he's even been sharing all the Spotify links with his friends at school and saying, you got to support my mom, and you got to listen to this cool tune, and when's the next one coming out? And so I'm truly blessed. I've got a beautiful son that's deeply supportive, and he plays drums, but I don't think he's going to be a musician. He's probably going to be doing something in the sciences.
What are you saying about his drum work?
He's great at drumming, but he's chosen to kind of put his energies into other things.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, how do you practice at home? I mean, do you practice at home at all?
Well, when it comes to being a mother and all things that come with it, you have to make time for it and be very mindful of making time for it. So it would normally be a process of working on repertoire and rehearsing and repeating lines over and over again to the point where you drive the entire household insane. But, sometimes playing the piano, working on some chords. So that's really the rehearsal space for me, and then getting together with the band and workshopping and figuring out what we're going to do, which doesn't happen as often as we'd like because we're all so busy. But because of the proficiency of the musicians, often, if we've all just done our homework, we can actually hit it on stage and have the luxury, too, of just letting it unfold organically. And often that's when the magic happens. You all just come with your bit, and you put it together in the melting pot, and you stir it up, and it all comes out, and it's always good.
The album came out last week, and so it's going to be available online.
Yes, it'll be online on all the major musical or electronic digital platforms, and then we are looking to do a launch in the future. We're still just trying to align everybody's very busy schedules.
Yeah.
And we've been actually asked a couple of times as to whether there would be a CD per se, which surprised me, because I thought that in this digital age most people would be looking to download. But I believe there's actually a huge movement towards wanting the CD.
I'm one of those people
I'm so excited to hear this.
Who still want to touch it. It must be tangible in my hand. I must read through the the notes. I must see who's who, so that even when a song plays, I'm like, who's playing?
Encouraging.
Who's playing here?
So that's leading us to look to have a nice limited run of the CDs. So we'll have them available for folks at the launch if they would like to purchase one as well.
That's actually great to know that, because downloading means everything depends now on whether you got data.
Yeah.
So data is holding us by the throat.
Exactly.
So to speak. I was wondering, though, that, if, yes, you are reimagining, these great songs, why, or maybe you'd do that in the next project. Aren't there any South African compositions in there, or was that deliberate, or, as you said, it was based on what people were loving at the time?
Yeah, I think it was really just a thing of these were the ones that resonated with audiences and the ones that were repeatedly requested. So we chose our best from those that had emerged from all these years of playing together.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've included Fluidity, which was an attempt at an original that we added in there. And I think moving forward, of course, we will continue to do that, because that's our formula, and it's our winning formula in terms of revisiting and reinventing favorites. But having said that, we definitely would like to be looking to introduce more original content into that, and also allowing that to then have us move more into a festival space where we are engaging with audiences that have really come to listen. And whilst we love playing in venues where you interface with all sorts of interesting people, the festival space is very special because you're really connecting with intention. You are coming to share your music and people are coming to receive it and to listen. So we're hoping that with this offering of reimagined covers and then with some future original material that will add to that and more material that's reimagined, we will build an audience following and also find ourselves on festival stages.
Have you got your own compositions that you just dream one day you'll, put on record?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of stuff that's sort of percolating and needing to be worked on, and that's what I'm intonating towards would be the content that would kind of come with the second wave of material. And then obviously Fluidity was a composition that Roland presented, and I then put a melody and lyrics to that.
Lovely.
So we've got the ball rolling. We'll continue.
So with your compositions, what are the themes? What do you compose music about? Is it love? Is it the state of the world? Is it?
I guess it's what's close to your heart.
Yes.
Because whatever you're expressing musically really has to come from an authentic space inside of you. So
what is close to Wendy's heart?
Well, I must say the state of the world is definitely something that sits very heavily on my heart, especially environmentally. I've always had such a passion for the world. I'm a real earth child. So that's something that I have, as I said, percolating. I've got some content around that, just challenging folks to really take care of what we have on this beautiful planet that we live on. And then on the other side, it's just matters of the heart and life and our journey through this space, as we figure it all out and make sense of it, from heartbreak to joyful moments to just the joys of life and figuring out how it all works.
Yeah.
So speaking of those life experiences through lyric and through melody and through harmony.
And I guess also as a mother, you do have a great concern about the kind of life and environment your child or children will, grow up to in the future. But as a jazz singer and having done this over the years, how have you found the role of women in terms of being able to do what they love, in the music industry? Have you met up with any resistance, any challenges, or maybe being told, no, you have to do it this way, otherwise it won't work, or you have to look a certain way, otherwise they won't see you, or just share with what your experiences have been, or maybe you've just sailed through really, being able to freely and happily do, what you love.
I think the first stumbling block for most women is you got to get out of the house. You got to get over the laundry baskets and the pots and before you get out there and stand on a stage.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that the family's taken care of. So that's always number one.
Yeah.
And by the time you get in the car and you drive into your gig, you think, what am I doing? I'm exhausted. But when you hit the stage, it's like the surge of energy that returns because you're filling your cup. That's the space where you can express. But in terms of the performance space, there's a lot of stereotyping that takes place in terms of the role of the woman and the role of the musician and what you need to look like, etc. You can't escape that, unfortunately. And to some degree, I think, not that you have to pander to it, but you have to play with it to get where you need to go to. So you need to look the part. You need to be well-groomed, presentable, and looking your best. But what I really detest is when people see that more so than they hear what you are singing. and you are singing out your heart and spilling your guts on stage. And that's what I want people to experience, is the heart of what I'm delivering creatively and musically. So I think for women, yes, it's good to take care of yourself, but at the end of the day, that does not define who we are as musicians. People can feel the authenticity of what you're expressing. And that is when you get complimented. Getting complimented on perhaps how lovely you look is nice, but let's rather talk about the music. So I think that for me sometimes really irks me. But I must...
Isn't it just so annoying?
It is.
When you thought you've just really laid your whole heart out into whatever you're doing, and the first thing people tell you about how you looked doing it.
Exactly. It hurts, actually.
It hurts, yeah.
It hurts.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And but do you think there's been a change over the years? It's not so much focus, or has it gone worse?
No, I think there's definitely a movement towards people really seeking out authenticity.
Uh-huh.
And that's what your audience connects with. And the right audience has come to listen, is more interested about what you've got to say musically than how you look. And I see that happening, and it's exciting. And then just in terms of the workspace, I mean, it is a male-dominated space. You are mostly in the minority. And when I'm on the stage, I'm surrounded by gentlemen. And I mean, I am surrounded by gentlemen because I've chosen to work with gentlemen, and I'm blessed that every single person that I've ever interfaced with in the bands, there's no issues there. They treat me like a lady and an equal, and as a musician and a contemporary. So I've been blessed in that regard. I guess I've almost safeguarded myself from interfacing with arrogance and perhaps discrimination because of the fact that I'm a woman, because I work with gentlemen. And that makes all the difference.
And I think there have been a lot of men who've shifted in terms of how they see women they work with in the music industry.
Yeah.
And congratulations. And I don't know if congratulations is the word, but like we appreciate that.
Yeah.
That they see women for what they can offer, and not what they look like or what they think of women, or what it's like everyone is here to give and deliver what they're being asked here to deliver, rather than that. But it's really good to know. Which women do you look up to that inspire you, that you think, oh my goodness, she is just divine?
Oh man, there's a long list. How much time have you got?
I got all the time.
But I mean, it's been a journey for me, and having discovered my first sort of amazing woman of jazz that inspired me. I started with Diana Krall, pretty mainstream, but then I found Shirley Horn. For me, she's just like in a category of her own. That woman just has some magic that comes through when she just plays with such intention, and the spaces between the notes, space between the notes, and the way she phrases and expresses. Oh my Lord, that woman has my utmost respect. So she has been a huge influence for me. Carmen McRae, Sarah Vaughan, so the greats, of course Ella. But then moving into this newer generation of female vocalists. I mean, after the Joy of Jazz Festival, where I got to see Esperanza and I got to see Jasmine. I mean, those two had me in tears.
I can imagine.
The music was just next level moving. And I just also love some of the very gritty, young energy coming through. Veronica Swift.
Yeah.
And there's even, oh my goodness, why have I gone blank now?
It'll come, yeah.
It'll come. I can see her face, but I can't remember her name. But they're just such beautiful, there's a beautiful collective of young women coming through that have just got such spunk and pizzazz. There's a beautiful Scottish girl called Georgia Cecile,
Georgia Cecil.
And you will be blown away by what comes out of her mouth. Young, but expressive and owning her space. So amazing talent coming through the work. So it's for me, it's like peeling an onion. You never stop getting to the end or the middle, because there's just so many beautiful artists that are yet to still be discovered, and they will resonate with where you're at in your life at that point.
That's true.
So for me, it's just this big melting pot of all these beautiful women that have inspired me and guided me, but now that I have found my voice, they've infused into that. And so there'll be smatterings of them in what I deliver, but now it's me.
You're right. I mean, there's that sultry also there, because even your voice also has, sprinklings of the very people you're mentioning that have inspired you, from even the Diana Krall at some point. I hear it in, because, for instance, I'm wondering how, when you're singing any of these songs, and how you decide, okay, everyone knows Summertime. This is how Wendy is going to approach. How do you decide how you're going to vocally approach a song?
It's actually quite a strange thing, because it's the left and the right brain coming into play. So pre-performance...
there comes the science. Okay. See, the science works.
There we go. Pre-performance, the analytical side of me, I will reference all of those people I have spoken about. If I can find a rendition of something, I will listen to as many different versions of that and be inspired, let it infuse. Then I come up with my own version thereof based on all of these influences. But when I get behind the microphone, it all disappears, because if you've done your prep, you have a template to work from. You've got ideas, you've got concepts that you think you want to work into that arrangement. But when you're in the space of creating in music, it's almost like you just go into a complete trance. So you don't even know where you're going to access it from and what's going to come out of your mouth. Sometimes you even surprise yourself, oh, where did that come from? I quite like that.
Yeah.
You surrender to the space of creating. So I think you take all of that, you do your prep, you're mentally ready, and when you feel like you've done your preparation, you are able to relax. And in the space of relaxing, all this lovely stuff just filters through, and it becomes your offering and your rendition. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I prepared my questions to ask you, and I have not followed any other. Which
I hope I didn't take you on a kind of garden path.
It happens all the time, you prepare, but then I just go with the flow.
That's it.
I just go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
And the conversation just leads us to this and that and that, so that's exactly how it happens. And so that's why I get it. Exactly what you are expecting. Are you thinking of going on a solo thing?
Elaborate? In what sense?
As in solo career, as in this is a Wendy thing.
I've been asked that many times, also in the context of performing. It's always like I've always not buried myself, but I've always placed myself strategically within the context of a band. It's never been Wendy Allen Twyford, and even when I perform. And it's interesting that I don't like being in the limelight, which is almost a contradiction in terms. Like when you're on the stage, well, you can't escape the fact that you are right under the scrutiny of everybody that's basically come to watch and listen. And what I mean by that is I don't want to be the central focus of the creative process. For me, being immersed in the midst of my fellow contemporaries and musicians is the happiest place for me to create. In that I love the synergy that happens when we are all co-creating in a band context. So I don't know if I've answered you from the point of view that I prefer working in a band context versus Wendy standing on a stage with a orchestra backing me in an arrangement that, has been presented as part of a show context. But yet I hear what you're saying, side of that, do I want to now move into a context where I'm showcasing more myself in my original material and writing aside of a band identity? And I guess that will emerge and evolve as it should, as it flows, as it
because
unfolds.
at this and I hear you, because we see Wendy Allen Twyford.
It's a tongue twister.
Twyford. We see Allen in this context of BISOUX, and you're still standing out, because you are doing your part as a vocalist and percussionist. So I think maybe even going solo, you would still be with a band. So it's just probably just a positioning and marketing
Correct.
thing more than
Yes.
it's a different Wendy.
Yeah.
And I like how you say it, because it's also a jazz philosophy kind of thing, that you may have an idea, but you have all these other people helping you put it together, co-create it, and so
yeah, that's the thing. I love the organic nature in which things unfold in a live context. That gives me a thrill beyond. So when I'm asked to sing it, and I have to sing it note for note as per the arrangement in a show context, it's a thrill to be in that space maybe for that night, but I don't think I want to do that ongoing. I find the creative space far more satisfying.
But what's your ideal environment in terms of, are you a trio, septet, orchestra, or and also, like, if when you're dreaming, where is the stage and how many people are there?
Wow.
And who's in the audience?
Oh my goodness. Sure. I mean, that's also such an open-ended question.
I know.
Because I love the intimacy of a trio because of the space between the notes, and you can hear the nuances.
Yeah.
And that I love. And yet I love a big band with a full-on brass section pumping away. That's a thrill with the energy of its own. And interestingly enough, I don't think I would really enjoy so much a massive stadium type scenario of performing.
Maybe the big famous theatres, or
let's
concert
do Ronnie
halls.
Scott's, or a really cool jazz club, a Blue Note club in New York. A nice medium-sized space filled with the right kind of people.
Yeah.
That gets me going. Gets me going. Connection. It's all about the flow between the band and the audience. And when it gets too big, I think sometimes that is lost in translation.
And what is it that really thrills you is when the audience does what?
When they connect, when you can just see it in their faces, the tapping of the foot, the moving and swaying to the rhythm, or just in their eyes, that they're connecting with what you're singing, and the music moves them. That's what really, really gets you going.
I know some audiences, they get moved and emotionally taken up, but they say nothing. They just, take it in.
Yeah.
I'm the loud one.
We need you. Because that whoop and that clap is what gets you through the gig.
Tell them, yes, do it. I'm one of the loud. So if you hear someone shouting and screaming, and you must know,
thank goodness,
that could be her.
Thank goodness for you. We need you.
that could be me. So where are you guys performing soon as BISOUX?
Well, we haven't got anything lined up immediately.
Okay.
We are reformulating and restructuring post the launch.
Yeah.
Or rather the release. So we have our regular slot at Fairlawns Boutique Hotel, where peeps can come and listen to us in the trio format.
Okay, you still doing that?
We still do that once a month.
Okay, and what times and what days?
That's usually a Sunday, and it varies from month to month depending on schedules, etc. So
Okay.
we have a social media posts where we communicate this to peeps that want to know, and Fairlawns also advertises what's happening on their entertainment side. So that's our residency. But in terms of future work, it's all private and corporate events, nothing that's unfortunately for a public
But I'm
consumption space. I think that's what you're asking about, when people can come and listen to us in a public context. So we're working on that. We've got a couple of things in the making. We're just solidifying dates, and we'll have some dates to share very, very shortly with regards to public performances.
And I think also after the release of the album as well.
Yes.
And people get to hear what you guys do, they will certainly be curious to know, where can I come to see you guys perform? So what are your social media, what do they call them?
Platforms or handles.
Yeah, handles, yes, yes.
My Lord, I hope I can remember my own handles.
So that people can just follow
Yes.
and keep in touch and
That
see.
would be tremendous. We've got Instagram, which is BISOUX Trio.
We must spell this.
BISOUX.
BISOUX.
You've done your homework.
I see. I'm like, BISOUX.
So it's BISOUX Trio.
Yeah.
And then with regards to Facebook, it's just BISOUX. And we have got some clips on YouTube as well, which is also under the banner of BISOUX.
Lovely.
And then, of course, now we'll have multiple outlets on the different distribution platforms for live music. So you'll find us on iTunes and Apple and Spotify, Deezer, the works.
Okay.
So just look up BISOUX and you will find our music there.
And that music is going to be played here on Jazz and Beyond. So
Very
that's
exciting.
one way of introducing BISOUX
Thank
to the
you.
Jazz and Beyond listeners on 702 and Cape Talk. Wendy, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so
Nothemba.
much.
Thank you for your time. It's been wonderful having
And
this
wishing
conversation.
you guys all the best, and
Thank
hoping
you.
you have more gigs and you travel around the country and the world.
I like that.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you so much for having us.
Come for the jazz and stay for the good times.
On Jazz and Beyond with Nothemba Madumo.
On 702 and Cape Talk.